Hey Nate, so this is the mock-up that I did for my electrical components using the circuit diagram that you prepared for me. I did make all the connections and use all the components as per the plan. Pretty much, I'll have to confess, I got a little swept up with no pun intended, with the marine grade stuff that comes from Blue Sea. They are about 3 times as expensive, but I figured what the heck, I'm already into this for a few thousand. And I did use these, I think they're called MRBF fuse blocks or fuses that are made by Blue Sea instead of the longer ones. These are a little more compact, so they're kind of cool. The only other change was that I used a separate AC and DC breaker box for my components. It just fits better because it's smaller. And that was kind of the goal of this thing is, how small can I make this and still service it when I need to? And I think this is about as small as it's going to go. And doing a mock-up like this was really helpful, by the way, because I could do all the connections standing at my workbench rather than stooped over in my van trying to do all these crimping and wire running and everything. So anyway, let me run you through the system and show you what I got before I fire this thing up and see if there's anything you got for me that you think I should take a look at. So let's start here with the battery connections. Here's battery 1, battery 2. Got the negative from 1 to 2. These are wired in parallel. Series. I always get those two mixed up. Anyway, the way it showed me to do it, that negative is connected to the shunt on, I think, the correct side. By the way, I think your diagram may show the connection point to the Victron monitor on the other side of this, which I think is a little confusing, but I think this is the way it goes. And then the other side of the shunt, of course, goes up to the negative bus bar where everything is wired in. On the positive side of the battery connection, I got battery 2 wired to battery 1, and then there is I believe it's a 300 amp MRBF fuse right there. And that is connected via this 2-aught wire to the main battery shutoff point right here, which is off, of course, right now. There is, as you recommended, a hot all the time circuit and fuse for the solar charger, which is of course not connected right now because that is hot. And then on the other side of the switch, I got the, this is a Blue Sea fuse block. It fortunately had 3 fuse holders where I can put the MRBF style in there. The first one here, the big one, is going off to the inverter and connected to the positive. And then I've got the negative going out, of course, to the negative bus bar. The second positive connection is going to the battery charger right here. Sorry, this is a bit of a mess. I will clean that up before my final install. And then the last positive is going off over here to the DC fuse box. And the only DC circuit that I have hooked up right now is the LED backlighting for the AC breaker box. Back to the inverter charger. I have my line in, which is coming right here, the hot, neutral, and ground on the bottom here. And I have it wired up to a mock-up of my shore power setup with a little pigtail. This is what's going to be installed on the van itself. So I'll be able to plug it in and test to make sure that I can charge my batteries with shore power. And then on the other side of the inverter, the out on the top here, the green, red, and white, are going into the bottom of the AC side of the AC fuse box or circuit box, and wired to the mains and to the one branch circuit that I have for AC. It's currently a 20 amp. I'm going to change that to a 15 amp. I think 20 amp would be overkill. And then I have the that circuit wired up to a temporary connection here that's going out here, and I just put a outlet box on there, so I'll be able to test that and see if I'm getting AC power. I think that's pretty much it. Battery to battery, DC, and the solar charger. I have it hooked up, but I currently don't have a panel yet, so I can't really test that to see how that's going to be working. But I think everything else is ready to finish connecting and fired up. Let me show you real quick here where this is going to go in the van and the final connections that I have to make. That whole box is going to sit right here on the floor, and I'm going to fasten it to these two boards right here, and I will connect it to my chassis ground right here, and I will also connect the battery to battery charger to the Ford programmable battery guard, connected to my alternator. And then I've got a couple of DC circuits that are, I've run the wire, but I haven't connected them to anything yet. And then the last thing is just the battery guard, the Ford battery guard that connects to the alternator. This is where the connection point is. I've got my hot lead right here, which is wired to a 100 amp circuit breaker that will also serve as a shut-off to disconnect my components from the battery guard. This is actually producing power, which is good, and then when the battery discharges, it shuts itself off, so I think it's doing its job. So anyway, that's my setup, and look forward to hearing your comments. Thanks, Nate. Bye.